Hi, it's Ryan from Knights Around the Table, and here's the agenda today. I have a game, it's in Shrink, it's called SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. I always thought it was a sofa, never mind me. I am tired, I have bags under my eyes. Sometimes I put makeup under these bags, you know, just to save you the horror. But I thought today, I'm recording this in spooky season. It's coming up on Halloween, so I thought I'd scare the crap out of you. What's going on? What are we doing? It's nothing exciting. I'm going to unbox this game. And then I have a cool 3D printed insert that I'm going to stuff the game into. I'll show you that in a second. It's just off camera. Ryan, nobody cares. Nobody cares about this. Maybe a year ago we cared about this game, but like, come on, everybody who cares about this game has this game already. What's up? What are you doing? Well, I didn't honestly care about this game until I found out that it was hard to get. And then I was cruising around on the internet shopping mall, as one does, and I found a couple of copies of it, and I thought, oh my gosh, you know, now that it's difficult to put in my collection, now I have to have it. Why didn't I care? I very much like CG. I like a lot of their output. These are the people who made, oh gosh, so many things. They made Starship Captains and Dungeon Pets, and I'm just looking up at my shelf over there where I got all my CG games. Soulkin, and of course Lost Ruins of Arnak, which I'm a big fan of. They do great stuff. The Galaxy Trucker, awesome things. This one didn't really turn my crank, only because, for one thing, I thought that this was going to be like the Search for Planet X, which I already own, and I don't think it's anything like that, but just the satellite dishes were what tipped me off. Second, if we flip it over to the back, there's no, like, look, this is it. There's no faces. I think I've clued into this, that I don't tend to gravitate towards games that don't have faces in them. Figures, creatures, characters, whatever it may be. Two eyes and a mouth, and sometimes a nose. And sometimes bags under those two eyes. But there's no faces in here, so I don't think it immediately appealed to me in the theme. Like I said, it was a round board, you know, a round thing going on, just like Search for Planet X. So I thought, oh, I've already got something like that in my collection. It turns out, as usual, I was wrong, and I should have been all about this because this is apparently a very exciting game. But let's, what did I pay for it? $79.99, my gosh. I'm sure CG would send me a demo copy of it if I asked nicely for it, but man, this is the other thing on the agenda today. I'm gonna catch you up on my life because crazy things are happening. And I just find, like, sometimes I request stuff from board game companies, and you know, they have their window of like, oh, there's our marketing window, and we got to get it out in front of people, and we got to get people. Whew. Whoa, hold up, wait a second, wait. That would be, hold up, wait. Box fartometer, 2. Not the most resounding box fart, but it weren't nothing. So yeah, they got their marketing window, and they want people to know about the game and be excited about the game and buy the game. And sometimes when I request games from publishers, my eyes are bigger than my stomach. I actually don't get the opportunity. Like now, like look how long it took me to talk about this game to you. But I know a couple of things about it. Look, there's satellite dishes. These are the 4 different player colors. I forget what the blue things are. This is interesting because this is a game that you can trick out in an interesting way. There is a sun in the middle of the board. It looks like this, and it's translucent resin. So I think some people have stuck sort of like tea light idea kind of in here so that you can make your sun glow while you play. Isn't that kind of cool? We'll put that away. These are, actually, I should show you, if you don't know the game, and I don't know the game, I've never played, to be honest, but these are like little data tokens. It's hard to see, and I don't have my zoom in set up here, but there's like little 1s and 0s etched into these resiny, plasticky pieces. And then these pieces over here, these player pieces, are little satellite dishes. I gather that we're polling space, and there are aliens in here, but I don't think that there are any, I might be wrong, but I don't think there are any depictions of the aliens. It's just like a conceptual thing. There's a little microphone piece that you get, and this is a little, I don't know, trophy kind of thing. Anyway, those are the player bits. Right, what was I saying? I don't know. It's too bad that I'm not doing this live, because when I do this live, I have people in chat like you to keep me on track. Ryan, you were saying this, right? Okay. My life. it's not, talk about old, talk about, oh, that's not a funny joke anymore. This is hinged, and so I don't think that we're supposed to split this, but I think we are supposed to take the pieces out of it. But I don't know if this is supposed to stay intact after you punch the board, or if that's I don't know. You know what? I'm going to keep it intact, but we'll find out when we get to the rebox portion of the video. So what's been going on, Ryan? Well, some crazy stuff. You might have noticed that the torrent of videos on Nights Around a Table has slowed down a little bit over the summer. We did how to play Bagged and Boarded, and we did like a redux version of how to play Lucia. I hope you enjoyed those videos. But overall, it's been a little bit quiet, and that is because I made two interesting decisions that have taken up my time back to back. And I don't know if either of them were good decisions, but the first decision I made was I grew up wanting to be a performer. And I even went to, look, this is a puzzle piecing board. How excited are we about that? I even went to a performing arts high school. I was in drama. I starred in the musical that we did, even though I wasn't much of a singer back then. I'm more of a singer now than I was then. I'll tell you how that happened too. There was a time when I was threatening my mom with running away to Los Angeles to do the audition thing, and there were auditions to be had in Toronto too. She just didn't want to drive me there. I can't say I blame her, because now that I have teenagers, I'm like, I don't want to drive you guys anywhere. Just take the bus, damn it. So that kind of put the kibosh on my big performing arts drama acting career. However, I did do some community theater, and I quite enjoyed it. And when I moved to Toronto for my career, again, when I tell these stories, I'm like, why do I sound like Christopher Walken? When I moved to Toronto to start my career, it's a lousy Christopher Walken impression, but I hear it in there, it's in there. So crazy. So when I moved to Toronto, there were not opportunities. Look, this is cool. Wait. This is going to be, sorry if this annoys you, this is how it's going to go. This is going to be me interrupting myself with like, oh, isn't this a cool part of the board game? Cool, guys, check this out. Look, it's like a puzzle piece thing. That's how you put the board together. If you know this game already, this is very boring to you, but maybe you're here for the what terrible decisions did Ryan make recently story. So there's something for everybody. Back to it. And then I suppose this goes. Look, it's very subtly shaped like the Starship Enterprise, isn't it? Like it's got the big roundy part and the big sticky outy party in the back, and then down here. And then my tummy just grumbled because it's early in the morning and I haven't had any nosh. Right. So then that part goes, and I just realized I've got the entire thing upside down. Oh, no. You know what? It's made so that you can view it from different angles, I believe, at the table. So this part's right side up, this part's upside down, unless you flip the, you know how things work. Anyway, that's that. So when I moved to Toronto, there were no, what was that? This is my bag of little lost board game pieces that I will one day put on an image for you to identify on the Nights Around a Table blog, and you can tell me where all those bits go. Some of you are already screaming, Orleans, put it in the Orleans box. Yes, I know, it's fine. But what about this? Oh, okay, yeah, that's one. That one's obvious too. That's an acronym. Anyway, maybe you can help. Some of them I know, some of them I don't. When I moved to Toronto, there were no community theater opportunities because all of the theaters there were professional. So for a good chunk of 14 years, I didn't do anything super performing artsy. I kind of filled that void by doing speaking engagements, I think, for video game conferences and things. So I went down to GDC and I did some talks there, and I did some talks around Toronto, and I did one in Seattle. So that kind of like scratch the performing arts itch, and of course now this channel scratches the performing arts itch. But when I moved back out to the suburbs where I had grown up, I thought, well, maybe I can get involved in community theater again. So there was a musical that was running auditions, and I decided to audition, and I auditioned and I got a part, and it was a little bit humbling because it's a musical where everybody sings except the guy that I got. So I was like the one non-singing dude in the entire company. But I'll show you a picture of that. That's me as Vice Principal Douglas Panch in a musical called the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. So I enlisted for that. I thought, boy, wouldn't that be a grand idea? Wait, let's put this together. I don't know if this is the right way it goes, but we're gonna put it together anyway. I love boards and board game components. That puzzle piece together. Now, I don't know, that looks a little bit too small for this, but yes, that's a ring that goes clearly on top of the roundy part. I'm sure the back of the box solved all these mysteries for us, but I assume that goes there, and this rotates and does things, and those things are game related. Back to it. So I was in that musical. No sooner had I signed up for that musical than I thought to myself, let's do something really crazy. In order to explain this, I have to go back a little bit. Please, if you're here for, just turn on some music, relax, chill out, everything's fine. There goes my tummy again. Do you hear that? Yeah, I'm sure the microphone's picking that up. Ooh. Ooh. And it only happens when I'm about to shoot. Because everything's cool, and then I'm about to hit record, and my stomach's like, gar, 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 gar. I'm like, shush, you shush. So going back, I'm going to give you a quick little tour through my early career, because it matters. It matters for the telling of this tale. I'm going to put these in nice little stacks so that we can hopefully find the right box for them when I grab that insert. The insert's coming. It's not a myth. The cake is not a lie. I'll show you the insert in a moment. It's quite nice looking too. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it. Oh, you know what? I was supposed to look up who designed the insert before I did this video. I'm gonna have to do that after the fact and give that person credit when we start talking about the insert. So I went to college. In Canada, we have this distinction between college and university. And I think if you're watching from America, the distinction is more like, what do you guys call it? There's like state college or like community college and college. Here it's college and university. So if you want to learn a trade, you go to college in Canada. If you want to do really practical hands-on-y stuff, you go to a college. And if you want to do theoretical stuff, so basically it's very clearly like if you want to train to be a manager, you go to university. If you want to train to be the schlub that the manager orders around, you go to college. That's, if you're wealthy, you go to university. If you're poor, you go to college. You know, it's very a very clear, to my mind, a very clear class divide here in Canada. So when I graduated, it was the year that Toy Story came out, and I was already, my grandfather, who I call the judge because he was one, had been trying to impress somebody at Rotary, I think, and he mentioned that I liked computers, and the guy's like, well, does he have a computer? And Grandpa said no. And he said, well, he's going to need a computer if he wants to get into computers. And so Grandpa, who wasn't all that involved in my life, he lived up in Thunder Bay, Ontario, which is far north in the province, far, far, far north, purchased a computer for me. It was a very nice thing for him to have done. And part of that purchase was a copy of a piece of software called 3D Studio version 14. Was it Max at that point? I think it was just as they went and skipped the version number and went straight to Max. So it was 3D software, early 3D software. And I really wanted to be a 3D animator, but all of the, I guess it takes a while for schools to catch up, right, with new software. And there was no place to do it except at Sheridan. And at Sheridan, which is like a big art college, I guess it's kind of like Sheridan is like our Cal Arts. If you're watching this from America, if you're watching this from the UK, I got no idea. I'm sorry, I don't know your schools. Eden, I don't know. I don't think I keep these. I think I throw these out, but I'm going to put them over here just in case. Anyway, so Sheridan's the big artsy animation school. We got a couple. I think there's one. I think UBC does artsy stuff. Maybe I'm lying. Or Emily Carr, I think, is another big artsy school in Canada. Anyway, Sheridan's the one that I know very well because it's in Ontario. So I went to Sheridan. I had never taken arts all through high school, no art whatsoever. But I got the, this looks like it folds. Yikes, am I supposed to do that? I think I am, I hope I am. Why is it double-sided? I don't know, it's a mystery, we'll find out. If you played the game, you're screaming at your computer screen right now. Good, I love it. Are these player boards? Oh, they might be. Cool. So, never taken art all through high school, and here I decided to go to like the most renowned art school in the country. What could possibly go wrong, Rye? Well, let me tell you. So, they had all these portfolio requirements, and I completed all the portfolio requirements, and I wasn't a terrible artist, but I definitely wasn't among the best. And the people who go to Sheridan are among the best. They're the best arty kids in your school. They're the kids who hung out in the art room all the time and did all the shows and blah, blah, blah. I had never done any of that stuff, so I was a pretty big poser. But I mean, I could draw well enough. So the way they do it is you put all your stuff in a bag, in a portfolio bag, all the stuff they required of you. And I also have, coming up very soon, I have 3D printed versions of these components. So look for those. They're coming up super soon. We'll just get through punching all these player boards, and then it's reboxing time. All right, so to continue this story, I shouldn't have gone back this far, but I always find this part of the story kind of fun to tell. So here's crazy young me putting his artwork in a bag. You line up and you throw your bag in a literal pile with your name on it, and then you go to lunch for a few hours. And behind the scenes, while you're at lunch, they basically look at the portfolio and this one's an A, this one's a B, this one's a C kind of thing. Or this more like this one's an A plus, this one's an A minus, this one's a B plus. And so they look at the program that you wanted to get into, and they just, if you wanted, there were 3 programs. There was illustration, animation, and then if you didn't, those are the 2 prestige programs. And if you didn't get into either of those, they had this fallback where it's like, oh, we don't want to turn you away and leave money on the table. We still want to take your money. So they cooked up this course called Art Fundamentals, which we call, now some things age better than others, but we called it, excuse me, please don't cancel me. We called it Art is Fun for Mentals. So, because it was really like, here's how to hold a paintbrush. No, the fuzzy point goes forward. It was really like, really basic. So, if you didn't get into the 2 prestige programs, you were in fundies. So they would sit back there and rank all the portfolios, and then they'd take, if your first choice was illustration and you got an A plus on your portfolio, boom, you're into illustration. Same with animation, whatever. And everybody else, they couldn't fit in the, and then they went to the A's, and then they went to the A minuses, and then they went to the B pluses. And I think this is how it works in a lot of places with admissions. They just go by marks because they just got too many people to sort through, and the work is done for them by the high schools. So I did not get into animation, and the computer animation course at that time, I think it still is maybe, was post-grad. You could only do computer animation if you had gone all the way through their 3-year animation program at Sheridan, which is kind of a drag. So I wanted to get into it right away. So I did not get in. They put me in fundies. And of course they did. Why wouldn't they? But my portfolio was just strong enough that at the last minute, somebody couldn't pay their tuition for illustration or whatever, and a spot opened up. So they went to me and they said, would you like to take the spot in illustration? And it was the prestige course by far. So I said, sure. So I got into illustration. And then promptly 4 months later, I dropped out because like I said, they were the best kids at art in high school, and it was one of the best art schools in the country, and I was out-leagued. Whatever. This is going back way too far. I don't know. I'm used to telling that story. Then I went to a different college. I took computer animation and multimedia, and I got a diploma, a 2-year diploma out of a place called Seneca. It was rough. The kids were rough. I remember my parents came to, or my mom came to the student show. There was this one particular kid who just like couldn't go 3 words without dropping an F-bomb. And she ended up sitting like right behind him at the student show. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hear about this. Like somehow it'll be my fault that this kid swears way too much. But she was kind of like, it was real, like it was like hood school. This place, Seneca, not a big fan of the place at all. So there's some kind of scoring tracks, I guess. We'll find a place for those. Great. Just a couple more punch boards, and then we're through it, and we'll start reboxing it. Right. What are the views of that SETI video like? Well, I don't know. Everybody bombed out after 15 seconds. I can't tell why. So I ended up graduating from that. Now, this was back in this is the early days. The course was so, like, this is how long it takes schools to catch up, right? Like, I already had a computer and I was running 3D software, 3D Studio Max, and that's what they were teaching at the school, but the curriculum, their accreditation hadn't caught up with the current reality. So they called the course was still called illustration-technical. So I think, like, if you were doing, like, I think they used to teach, like, design for, like, manuals and stuff. Like, if you just somebody got a clock radio, with the illustration showing you which buttons to push, I think that's technical illustration. I could be wrong, but, you know, so it's still called illustration-technical. So if I don't lie on my resume, I have to put illustration-technical, but that's dumb and nobody knows what that is. So I put animation and multimedia on there because that's really what I learned. This was in the days just as a product called Macromedia Flash was becoming a thing. But before that, there was a program called Director, Macromedia Director, and that's what we learned the multimedia. There's one course in the whole thing. It was called Animation and Multimedia. We had one multimedia course, and that's the software we used, was Macromedia Director. Anyway, I graduated from there. I've told this story in other videos, but oh no, wait, this is the story. This is where I want to pick it up. Tum angry. Tum want food. We say around our house from Gauntlet, Red Warrior need food badly. All right. Here's why I'm telling this story. I graduate from this course and nobody, are you shocked? Nobody will give me a job. I've got this demo reel, I'm shopping it around. I had an interview at CBC. I had an interview at a place where a guy's like, oh, yeah, we'll bring you on. It sounds good. He walked me around the office. He introduced me to everybody at the office and said, hey, this is Ryan. He's going to be working with us in 2 weeks. He showed me the place where I would be sitting down, and he showed me the computer I would be using, and then ghosted me. So that was the kind of fun I had while I was a recent graduate. It was like The Graduate, like the movie, except I didn't have the pretty girl to chase and interrupt her wedding. So you know what? I did have a girl at the time, and you've met her. Her name is Cheryl, and she's now my wife of 24 years. Hooray! There are happy aspects to this story. This is a very long-winded way of saying that at that time I said to her, you know, she had taken a victory lap after high school, and I said, Lynn, you gotta get an education or you'll be hosed in the job market. Like, take it from me. And I convinced her to enroll at the university in town. And then I thought to myself, like, man, I'm just working at a video store. Like, Grandpa, what's a video store? Well, you see, it was like when you surf Netflix, except all of those things are on a shelf and you have to go there physically. So I was working at a video store, and I thought, man, what am I doing? I gotta get a education too. So I decided to enroll at the same time. So we enrolled at the same university, and it was very adorable, and we held hands and we went to our classes together, all the same classes together, and it was really cute. And the university, I think these are alien artifacts. These are fossils. I know that there are plans to 3D print these and upgrade these online, but I didn't end up doing these. I only did these things. You'll see them in a second. I did these ones and I did these ones, and they look pretty darn cool. But I've seen ones that are upgraded versions of these, and they look pretty darn cool too. I just didn't do them. Maybe I will after I play it and figure out what the whole entire game is about. We held hands on the way to university, all the same classes together, and the university gave me transfer credit for the stuff that I had done in college. They gave me like a whole year's worth. So if your 3-year degree takes 15 credits, they gave me 5 credits worth. So basically they gave me a year free. So I did my first intro year, and then they gave me one free. So I only had 1 year to go to get that degree, that university degree, signifying to the world that I was one of the richies and not one of the poors. So summer comes and I think, oh, I'll just like, as long as I'm doing the university thing. And I thought it was a real defeat to me to have, this is so stupid, to have to do the university thing, because I thought, oh, I'm just like I'm not special, I'm not unique, I'm not forging an interesting, you know, different path through life. I'm doing what every other schlub does. I'm just, you know, I'm in university, how dull. And I thought I might as well get like a dull summer job. And you know, what's the most common dull, stupid university summer job that everybody does? In Ontario, it's tree planting. At the time it was. You would go up to Thunder Bay, I mentioned Thunder Bay, way up in the north, and get eaten alive by black flies while you planted saplings to reforest pulp and paper was the big industry up there, so they chewed up a lot of trees. So this was part of replenishing the tree stock. But apparently it was grueling, horrible, awful work, and I thought, sign me up. So off I went to the online job boards. So I went to a job board, and about the third job I looked at said, hey, we're looking for a video game developer this is really, I should have put some food in there. You know what is weird though? The stomach goes crazy and starts growling and like, oh, I gotta put some food, and I eat some food and I'm like, now I can film. And then it makes all kinds of noises digesting the food, so you can't win. So let's just deal with it. So right, this last punch board, the final punch board. Tree planting. Video game designer, said the job. So we need a video game designer for YTV. YTV was this youth-focused channel that I actually watched at the time because I had this puppet show on it called Nanoland that I was completely obsessed with. And I went out with friends. We used to go to this thing called Pirate Video Cabaret every, I don't know, Thursday night, Friday night in the city. And, is this where the sun goes? Yes, I think it is. Quick, where's the bag with the sun in? I don't know. It's over here. Look, the sun. The sun is a mass of incandescent gas. A gigantic nuclear furnace. Something like this. I could be wrong, but yeah, you know what I mean? So pieces rotate around the sun and do things. I think this is a game of opportunity, like you're trying to stick the landing when the literal planets are aligned. You're like, ooh, I'm gonna make my move and do the thing. Anyway, that's it. Right. Tree planting, YTV. YTV, I used to watch YTV because we used to go to, I've got upgraded versions of these too, 3D up printed. So we used to go to Pirate Video Cabaret, and it was just like, it was live sketch comedy and a little bit of stand-up, and then every once in a while they'd put stuff on the monitors and we'd watch like comedians had made like short films and stuff. And it was all like 20-year-olds, you know, smoking. You could still smoke in bars at the time, and they were on smoking and drinking, and so you expected a certain thing from that. And then the host gets up and he's like, and now we have a new episode of Nanoland, and everyone goes, "Wah!" I'm like, what the heck? I'm new here. What is Nanoland? And then they put it on the monitors. It was this like insanely adorable green puppet of a toddler named Mona who goes to her Nana's house and investigates bugs in the backyard. Oh my gosh, it was the most adorable thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. And then eventually that troupe called the Grogs, who already had some puppets on YTV as interstitial co-hosts, they got a show on YTV called Nanoland, and then it moved over to the CBC, and I followed them all the way through. And I actually got to work with the Grogs briefly. I went to one of their sessions because I guess they kind of recruit people to do sort of like extra work, you know, extras in movies, like background characters, but they do it with puppets just in the backgrounds of their shows. And I found out at the time, this is a tragic element to this story, but there goes speaking of tragedy, my tummy is like, yeah, it was tragic. I found out that because of a disease I had, a joint disease that I only recently discovered, I couldn't extend my arm up over my head and keep it there for a long time in order to do puppetry work. So I'm a massive Jim Henson fan. At one point I changed my middle name to Henson. It's still Henson to this day, and I could not do puppetry. It's very sad. But does this story have a happy ending? I don't know. It doesn't even have an ending. It's just gonna, if you're hoping for an ending, it's not gonna happen. It's just gonna catch you up to now. And you'll see why I had to go all the way back to catch you up to now. I hope. Anyway, Nanoland. I watched Nanoland on YTV. This job was posted at YTV to make video games for the website. Now, I remember at the time, that was seen as a little bit of a step down. Nobody got into computer animation wanting to work on web. It was kind of like the, it was the also ran industry. It was the industry that you got into if you couldn't like get a job in real video games. Like, okay, I guess I'll do some web stuff. Like, thought to me now. So I went and I applied for this job, and I told them how much I loved YTV and how much I was watching Nanoland at home when I wasn't working at the video store, and they gave me the job. And now I must impress upon you, I had gone to the country's most prestigious art school, having never taken art, and then I got a job as a video game designer, having never made a video game. So this is, man, thinking back on it now, I wish I had the chutzpah now that I did when I was in my early 20s, because the things I couldn't do. I ended up working there for 7 years, but the whole point of this is that I left my degree in progress. I had 15 credits on a degree, and I accomplished 10 of them, so I only had 5 to go. And I just, abandoned the degree. And everything was fine for a number of years. Let's keep cracking into this. First of all, let's estimate how many cards are in this deck. I am not. So apparently I'm good at everything except this, because if I were to hazard a guess, I would put this at, wait, let's put both stacks together. Oh, okay, now I have a much clearer view of it. It is obviously 50,000 cards. So, what was I even saying? Right, good at everything. Lose my train of thought entirely. Abandon the degree is the important part, though. Abandoned the degree, and it was fine for a while. I worked at YTV for 7 years. I made video games there. At first, I could only do art and animation and really rudimentary interactivity. And then I thought, man, if I really want these games to sing, I need to learn how to program, because usually what the industry does is the industry is everywhere. The industries favor specialists. This will come back, I hope, if I remember. Industry favors specialists. So, in a video game team, you've got an artist or a team of artists. You've got a programmer or a team of programmers. You've got a designer or a team of designers, right? Everybody has their cog in the wheel kind of role. But at YTV, it was just like, here's how it went. They're like, hey, game designer. There's no distinction, by the way, between game designer and game developer. Usually the developer is like the programmer, and the designer is the one who comes up with the models, the economic system in the game, and the rules, and the blah, blah, blah. None of that whatsoever. They just say, like, Friday, it's Monday now. Monday morning, they say, Friday, we need a game. Go. You'd be like, oh, okay. And then you just like make a game in a week by yourself, right? Like, so I would do the art, I would do the animation, I would do the voiceover if I wanted voiceover. If there's music, I would compose the music and put it in there. I would do absolutely everything. So of course my early games couldn't really do much because I didn't really know how to program, and Flash at the time didn't really have a programming language to it. It was all just kind of like slapped together. If you ever used Scratch, that's kind of what it was like. Look at this phallic rocket. Oh my gosh. I don't know what these cards are about, but I do have a place in the insert for them. And then as I went and I learned more complex interactivity, speaking of complex interactivity, here's a pack of tabby stickery things. I don't quite know where they go because I don't know the game that well, but I'm definitely going to save those to put where they're supposed to end up. I don't know. We'll find out. Or will we? Will I leave you hanging on that? Or you have the game already and you don't care? Whatever. The point is this story. So I learned how to program on the job. I taught myself how to program on the job, and it's fun because Flash kind of like evolved as I did. As soon as I had like a really good handle on all the stuff it could do, they came out with a new version of it that had more advanced scripting, and then as soon as I got a really good handle on that, they came out with a new version of it that had like a more mature object-oriented programming language. Not quite as mature as other object-oriented programming languages, but definitely enough to cut my teeth on and to get into trouble. So I made more and more complex games. So it was a good time. And then somewhere in 2008, Steve Jobs told everybody Flash wasn't cool, and 2 million people lost their livelihood, and I was one of them. It was very sad. But anyway, fast forward to now. Let's get that insert out. Just if you're in it for the board game portion of it, I don't want to bore you to tears. There's a couple things. We got like a player guide in here. I like this. This is these are some player guides that show us hopefully every single icon in the game. Fold these up. These are not, I hope you fold these up. There's a crease in the middle. Do you fold these up? Yikes. I don't know which way they're supposed to fold, this way or that way, or does it matter? I don't know. I'm just a caveman. Let's do it that way. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And we'll do this one. Whatever. I'm gonna channel 20-year-old me and just flipping go for it. Doesn't matter, just fold it, right? All right, look at that. Recapturing my youth. All right, there we go. Right, well, I moved the camera a bit, so now you get like a nice close-up view of my lovely curly hair. And these are more explainy things, telling you about the different bits of the game, so you don't have to dive into the rule book. Here's the rule book. I always like to, look at the rule book and see how many pages it is, how many pictorial examples. CG just does a killer bang-up job on everything that they do, so I have no worries that this manual is going to be fantastic for teaching the game. Awesome. Where was I? Right, so I'm fast tracking you to like basically the current state of affairs, where I moved out to the city. Moved out of the city and then moved back. Ooh, look, there's a third piece to this. Come here, son. Get over here, son. Come here, boy. Boosh. Pretty neat. Pretty cool. It's like R2-D2's little probe that he uses to... We call R2-D2 a he. Do they ever call R2-D2 a he in the movie? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. As if anybody got this far. R2-D2 is astromechs are males. I don't know. They refer to C-3PO as a he, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Great. The insert. Oh, there goes the stomach. Man, this is, oh my gosh. Oh, sure. Oh. I used to think it was nerves. It might be nerves. Check this out. It's pretty cool. Woo. Look at this. These pieces have been sitting at the ready for many months now, and I will flash you either the image of where I found this insert. I copied the color scheme directly from the thing because I thought it was just so sharp looking and so cool, and I think complements the game pieces really well. So I have a 3D printer that does multi-colors. There's a bit of hoariness, a bit of hairiness on here from just strands of plastic that I haven't wiped off. But look, so it does multicolor. So you print it like this, and then you do like the first one is like a white stripe, and then you do a couple of layers of blue, and then you do the darker blue, and then he's capped it with orange. This is so nice, and I thought, man, I'm gonna steal this technique for like every insert I print now, because it just looks so cool and so sharp. He's got little component trays that, now this took a long time. It took a long time to get this right, and even this one looks a little tiny bit messed up, but it's these are pretty sharp. They have a really nice oh, this isn't it, sorry, I'm describing something else. There's a really nice something else that I'll show you in a second. I swear this comes out better. I just don't want the whole thing to spill, because you can hear there's stuff in there. Look, so these are the these guys right here, a little, like, they look like little suitcasey components. Those are these things, right? Look, they're pretty cool. And then these little energy battery thingies here, which are really cool. Like they're multi-material. They've got white lightning bolts. They got yellow tops and then got silver inside. I don't know. This is awesome. Look how cool. Look how cool these are. These are so good. Yeah, even my stomach says they're cool. Says my stomach. Thank you, stomach, for weighing in on that. They look awesome. So those are these things. Very cool. And then the third component, which is already machined nicely and needs no sprucing up, goes in the third thing here. So it's been months of this insert sitting around waiting for these guys to join their cohorts. And then a lid goes on there. And then there are 2 of them. So don't worry, there's enough space to put the rest of those tokens, data tokens. Is there enough space? I hope there is. But very nice. Look at that. And again, like, I was about to turn that over and spill everything everywhere. Look, you got the nice orange stripe there and a blue and a white stripe on the bottom. The whole thing is just so pretty, so nice. That's like an inlay. Oh my gosh. Well done to the designer, again, whose name I didn't look up. I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna emblazon it everywhere that I possibly can. It'll be in the description below too, a link. Now the nice part that I was going to tell you about, these, I believe it's these go, yes. So the mechanism here, you slide this off, your cards are going to go in here, bits are going to go in here, and just like listen, I don't know if you can hear this. I'm going to hold it up to my chest mic. Oh. One more time. Listen to this. Okay, it's open. Listen. Oh, there's a little these modeled a little groove in here and a little catch system, little nubbin, a little lump, so that it just like locks really nicely. Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. So this is a really nice box. And then you got various things for sleeves and yeah. These ones do it too. So cards are going to go in here, and yeah, like it. So this slides open. We're going to put tokens in there. There's an eyelash right there that will. It's not allowed to be there. But listen. Ooh, and it just like snugly, so you can't. It's not going to slide out unless you put a little bit of force. Oh, so good. I mean, this is what I get excited about these days, everybody. When I mention I have a 3D printer, they're like, ooh, what do you print? And I say, I print, they want me to say articulated dragons for some reason. I don't, that's dumb. I print boxes for board games so that the organization is better. And they're like, oh yeah, and then they back away slowly. Right, there you go. Stomach has something to say. So I'm gonna treat it like, what's that, boy? Oh yeah, Timmy's stuck in the well. Great. Here are the bits that we are going to put all. This is kind of, oh yeah, I mentioned that there were also special things replacing these doodly bits. Well, these are they. So this is like a planetoid, I guess, in the middle and orbits around the edges and a little bump. I don't know. They look cooler and they go in here. That's all I know. That's all I know because I haven't played the game. But yeah, that's an interesting tray, interesting shaped tray. And then another one of these. So these all open. I think these are for alien components and bits and stuff goes in there. We'll figure it out in just a second. I feel like I got to make good on this long-winded story that I've been telling you this entire time, though. Where were we? Right, we're catching up to like now. I moved out of the city and then it was really, really hard. I mean, if it was hard doing creative technical work in the city, it was impossible moving out to the burbs because there were no companies out here that did anything of this sort. So I had a job and it lasted for about a couple of years. And then when I left that job, I got the job when I was in the city, then I moved out of the city, and then it was just like everything just sort of petered out. And I started doing Nights Around a Table. I've been doing Nights Around a Table for 7 years. Now, I don't want you to harbor any illusions that this job in any way pays the bills. It does not. I really appreciate the help that everybody on I was about to punch Discord. Let's punch Patreon. which button is it? It's this one. Patreon. The support that the Patreon backers give me really helps. But again, it it doesn't pay the bills as far as groceries go, but it's a help. It's along the way. If you would like to help and help a creative individual maintain a channel like this, then please, by all means, hit up Patreon or give me a super thanks on YouTube, I think they call it. There's all kinds of ways, and I have a whole page. I have a whole page on the website detailing how you can help out the channel and keep this good thing going. Is this a good thing? I don't know if this one's such a good thing, but we're I'm sharing with you here. I'm sharing. Maybe you find it semi-interesting. Maybe you have a similar, maybe you've charted a similar path, or maybe you think, man, I'm glad I didn't go to art college. So, right, let's find places for all of these bits. For one thing, I know, okay, here's one thing I know. One thing I know is that we can take a baggie and we can put all of these guys in the baggie. I feel like I can't do it dexterously and quickly enough, and everyone's going to be like, man, I'm not watching them put green things in a bag for the next 30 seconds. I'm out of here. Boom. Put these in a bag, and then we take the bag and we get rid of the bag because we got the... Did you hear that? That was kind of cool. And then we can do the same thing with the brown ones, these tokens, but I'm lacking the bag at the moment. We'll find one in a second. Right, so Knights Around the Table. Been doing Knights Around the Table for 7, almost 8 years now. It'll be 8 years, I think, next month. 8 years, that's crazy. Is that crazy to you? That's wild. So if this is your first foray into the channel and watching me do stuff, first, I apologize. Second, God help you. Third, there's 8 years of stuff you can go back and look to and enjoy. And hopefully, let's all say another 8 years to come. However, now we finally get down to it. When I was out here, there were a couple of things I was exploring. I couldn't go back and finish the degree because the school is in a town called Peterborough, which is about, I would say, 2 hours, 2.5 hours east of Toronto. So there was no way that I could possibly, take courses all the way out there. I was at a satellite campus in Oshawa, which is where I am now, which is an hour east of Toronto. But even commuting out to Oshawa, I mean, once you get into the city, like Oshawa is like off the map, you know what I mean? Like people are like, what? There be dragons. They don't want to go to Oshawa at all. And I didn't either. Not a big fan of Oshawa, but here I am. So finishing my degree while I was in the city, not a thing. Then when we moved back out here, I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe I can continue taking courses and finish the degree. So I went to the school and I met with an academic advisor, and the guy's like, what do you want to, he doesn't have this accent, but this was the vibe that he was giving me. What do you want to finish your degree for? I'm like, oh, I just find that, doors are being closed to me. There have been a number of circumstances where I'm looked over for things and I miss opportunities, and I feel it's because I'm not in the rich kid club that went to university club. I don't have an undergraduate degree. He's like, it's going to be really hard to get all the courses because, a lot of them are in Peterborough and we don't offer them here. I'm like, yeah, but can we? He's like, this guy, his job, by the way, he goes, I wouldn't worry about it. Like, what do you mean? He's like, nah, just continue with your career. I wouldn't worry about it. What the heck? So the guy turned me away and almost refused to help me figure out how to chart getting the rest of these 5 courses to finish my degree. Weird. And then a few years went by and I kept doing Knights Around a Table and kept finding that it was impossible to get gigs in my industry. I did one recently, a 2-year thing, making a VR game with a distributed video game company, but all these jobs are really tenuous. They're really, what is the word for it? Precarious. That's the word. I was precariously employed and have been for my entire career. And all of these, what I didn't realize was all of these video game companies and creative industries in Canada and in Ontario are reliant on government funding. And if they can get government funding, they can hire people. And if the funding dries up, the jobs dry up and they have to fire people. So it's very, very, very volatile. There's not a lot of security in it. I had no idea. So recently, just after I signed up for the play, I thought, hey, I wonder if I could just kind of take a couple of courses at the school. The school's called Trent University. So I went back and I just signed up for a couple of courses over the summer. And then it was like, okay, well, while I'm doing this, I think I can finish. And then it's like, well, while I'm finishing, I think I can go better than a 3-year degree. I think I can get a 4-year degree. I think I can get an honors degree. And then I was like, oh, well, in addition to that, I think like, then I could like, I could go to teachers college after that. And if it's security that I'm looking for, I could definitely, I've been teaching all my career, and this channel is a teaching channel, right? I teach people how to play board games. I've had experience in public schools. I've volunteered in elementary schools teaching computer programming. I've taught at the college level at 2 different colleges. So I've been teaching the entire way through this entire career. So I thought, yeah, I might as well, make an honest man of myself and get accredited and pop into some high schools and see if I can teach Premiere and Photoshop and things. They have a program at a university here called York University where they will give you credit for time served, essentially. So they'll take your the years worked in your career into account, and they'll let you teach Comtech, which is like what I do here. Like it's animation, it's Photoshoppy stuff, it's vector artwork, it's nonlinear editing, it's computery stuff. It's the stuff that I do. It's the general stuff that I do as a generalist that the industry seems to have no tolerance for, because they want me to pick a lane and stay to that lane and not know how to do other things and not make suggestions for Ryan. Shut up. I had this at the last job. They're like, no, you're the game designer. Don't program. You're not a programmer. I'm like, excuse me, I know how to program. No, you're the game designer. You can only design games. Okay. So this is what I decided to do, and I decided to do it just after signing up for this stupid musical. The musical I thought would have a lot of meaning for me, and it would have, but then it was just like, oh my gosh, this whole musical is just keeping me from doing my readings for this seemingly much more important thing. So if I've been a little bit quiet lately, it's only because I've been reading I've been reading a book a week for this English course. Literally a book a week. That's a lot for me. I don't read very quickly or efficiently at all. And in order to make all the program requirements, I had to overload it. So I'm taking six courses a semester. So that's what I've been doing. I went back to school in my midlife, and let's not call it a midlife, because I mean, if you were to double my age right now, you're like, is he really going to live that long? I don't think so. So I'm past the crest. I'm over if it was the bell curve, I'd be getting about a B plus. on the old life curve. Whew. Yes, Tummy, I know. I agree. I know it is sad and tragic. Anyway, that's my plan for now. And then you think, because you care about the board game stuff, oh my gosh, well, is he ever going to make a video again? Yes, of course he is. The thing that job stability, I hope, again, there comes walking. The thing that job stability will get from me is the ability to do the stuff that I want to do. That's how I counseled my youngest kid. My youngest kid is like, what should I do? Should I go become a theater tech or learn how to make props? And I'm like, no. Like, absolutely not. Don't do creative work at all. I said, go get a job. This is awful. This was soul crushing to even have to say this, but I said, get a job that you can stand, that will pay you as much money as humanly possible. And then when you're not working that job, you will have enough money to buy materials. You will have hopefully time to be able to take vacation. You can explore the creative stuff all you want outside of that job and have the means to do so. Weigh in the comments if you think that's good advice or bad advice, but it's just coming from somebody who's been there. Hopefully this isn't like is this like a real bummer, this this video, me talking about the trials and tribulations of a professional creative worker? If you're a young person and you're watching this and you're like, oh my God, I thought I was gonna be a professional basket weaver my entire life. Like, don't listen to me. Just go, if you're really good at that, and especially if you have rich parents, by all means, be a basket weaver. Look, they have really nice spots for all these things and all these alien compartments in here. I'm not too sure which cards go in there, but I might have to duck out and check a little image of the insert. Here, there's two things that go here. I can see one of them, and the other one I've lost somewhere on the table. There it is. Boom, boom. Those things go. They're really nicely. They fit really beautifully. Oh, so beautiful. So nicely done. That I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up in just a second, and then we'll do. No, this doesn't go to anything. And one thing I did find though, when you're doing, if you're doing the multi-material thing, you'll notice that here there's a bit of my colors didn't adhere all that well. So here, I'm gonna hold it up here. So there's a bit of a split between the blue and the orange, which, you know, it's not a big deal. You can glue that a little bit if you need to, but can you see that? Anyway, that's what's up with that. So beware. And then these 5 things go in here. Sometimes somebody brought up the point to me that these inserts, like when you're in there, of course they have a little lever, so it's not, you can't, once they're in there, you can't ever gouge them out. No, you just pop them and push them down, they go up. Somebody said, well, you know, inserts where you're like really meticulously placing all these items in every single little box actually make it more difficult to play the game, right? What you should be able to do, I'm printing another insert right now where you have to make stacks of tiles and stuff, and it just puts the stacks in a little thing that you pull out of the box and go blam, instead of having to fish them all out of a bag. And that makes the game a lot more easy to play. I'd buy it. These things can go, these things we can check them out because we have plastic versions of them. I have a whole box of like cardboard components that I've replaced with nicer 3D components. But I don't know why I keep the cardboard components, and it's a very big box at this point. I don't know. The other thing about 3D printing your components is like this fits everything. Do these go in here? Yes, I think so. In some sort of rhyme or reason, I don't know. But it fits everything so beautifully, and then they announced, like recently they announced, oh, there's gonna be an expansion to this game. And so of course the expansion doesn't fit. And if you were watching my unboxing of Lost Ruins of Arnak with the most recent Big Dumb Box for Dumb Dummies, you realized that the really beautiful insert that I had printed by a user called Unser Family didn't keep pace with the upgrades, with the expansions, and so now you're just stuck with an insert that doesn't fit anything, and I have to either throw the insert out or keep it, hoping that Unser Family will, you know, make good and update the insert. These are cool. Look at these. These come out. They're like little drawers. You can push from one side, you can push over here, little drawers come out. What goes in here? I'm looking, I don't know what goes in here. Is it these things? Is it the blue things? No, is it yes, I think it's these because they're cut exactly like for that. Do they go in some sort of order? They probably do. Is the order 1, 2, and then 3? I don't know. It probably is. I don't know. You know what? At this point, I'm gonna duck out and take a look at a picture of how this thing is organized. Okay. Now that I have taken a look at the pictures of the inserts, I see that it is made by Board Game Geek user Andre R. Andre, fantastic work. Thank you so much for this. I think it's completely marvelous, and your color choices were just so tasteful. You know, you did such a great job. So I'm just going to put stuff together like I see in Andre R's picture. I don't know if Andre R included a reboxing diagram for this. That's something that I always like to put together after the fact. And I already mega appreciate that people put these inserts together. But man, if they put a reboxing diagram in with all the files, whew, there's no touching it at that point. So these all apparently are going in here like this. 1, 2s, and 3s. Okay, good. And then we will, oh, there goes the tummy again. Take a look at some more pictures. The weird shaped thing here like this goes like these go in here like so. It's something I think goes underneath them, but we'll see in a second. But those get snugged into there. The sun, which went, right, I had it in the pieces. The sun goes upside down into there. And I'll click through and see some other stuff. The cards are going to be a little bit of a tricky bit for me, I think, because I don't know. You don't know what you don't know. There are two, it looks like two gemmy things that I haven't seen in any bucket or bag yet that go into this little recess. Let's see. Right. It's got a picture of all of the card things out here with certain backs on them. So let me just fish through and find all the different alien backs. And I think these are alien pieces and artifacts. I only know that because probably because of the way the files were named when I went to print this thing. So with regards to that potential career change, I mean, I'm not through it yet. Who knows what might happen between now and me trying to accomplish all of this. But I don't know, good idea or bad idea? Do you know people who kind of shifted focuses midstream, who maybe went back to school? Again, I say midlife because that's the that's the kind way to put it, but past middle life, later life, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I talk to people who say like, oh my gosh, yes, it's a fantastic idea. Do it. A couple of people, it's rare, but a couple of people are like, oh my God, are you insane? Don't teach in public schools. And it's a little bit different here in Canada than it is in the States. Again, if you're one of my American friends, I think that it's a better gig here in Canada, and teachers seem to be fond of crowing about how terrible it is, but many teachers, especially here, I'm going to have to choose my words carefully, especially if people dig this up later and I do become a teacher, but people, look at that, that looks so cool and nice and good, and oh everything, it's so good, it's so cool. I don't know how you would set this up without this insert, because it's a bit of a, this is one thing I can fault CG for. I like the stuff that they do, but they don't, as far as inserts go, they do not GAF. Like it's just like throw it all in the bucket. All right, so that's in like that. And then we got these guys. These all have names, by the way. If you played the game, you know the names of all the alien races. I don't know the names of all the alien races, but shout them out at your computer as you're watching. We'll do a little bit of Dora the Explorer style audience participation. Right, so some people said, this one, oh, these are supposed to be secrets. Let's make them secret. Some people say it's a great idea. Some people are like, what do you think you're doing? But the majority of people say, oh yes, great idea. But again, I think it's kind of like the rule is, if somebody decides to do this, everybody knows how difficult and expensive it is, and they kind of have to say, oh, such a noble thing to do. Very, very good. I should say too, look at this with the insert. You have to print this one with supports, and I had a hard time taking the supports out, and it left kind of like pocking. It's really hard to see on that camera view because it's dark, but it leaves sort of pitting or pocking around this area. So your cards, I was worried that it was going to like chew up a card. Just be careful. You can sand it down or do whatever you're going to do. I was never good at finishing PLA, but you don't want it to chew up any of your cards. But there is a little bit of relief happening around the edge here because of the insert stuff or the support that you have to take off. Okay. Right. So good idea, bad idea. You tell me. You tell me in the comments. If this were live, I would take a poll. Great. This is all looking good. Those are the aliens. Did I get them all? There's one I'm missing. Huh, figure it out in a second as we go through the pictures. And then all the player stuff, I don't know what goes. Yes, okay, so here's a picture of what goes. So all of these are the player boxes. So there are 4 of them. Let's get them all lined up. Chugong. Blamp, 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 blamp. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. Do these slide? These slide this way. This one's upside down. Also upside down. Great. Our player components. So I think we just sort by shape. So yeah, I was talking about a little bit about the differences between being a teacher in America land. That's not where these go. And in Canada, not that I'm super apprised of all the differences, but it just sounds like, for one thing, in Canada, teachers don't have to worry too much about, the bang bang shoot stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I can't say gun violence. We don't have to worry about gun violence quite nearly as much as they do in America. So, I mean, we do have to worry, I guess, technically about students stabbing us, because knife violence is a thing in Canada. Not majorly, but I would much rather go up against an angry student with a knife than an angry student with a semi-automatic. So, it's all very dark. This is like a shockingly dark video I'm making here, isn't it? So that's one thing. I mean, there's a very strong union up here in Ontario with the teachers. And I just find what I was trying to say, this teacher slander I was going to unleash on you. I can't quite tell what's in this component. You got the satellite looking things here. I think you've got maybe the dish looking things in here, and then in the smaller one you've got the trophy looking thing and the microphone looking thing, and the 100-200 point token in the correct color would go in here, and there's your thing. And then I think that each player has some sort of deck of cards or thing of things. So this is one in each player color, and I don't know what these two are about quite yet, but we'll find out hopefully shortly. So this, I think, goes in here. Ooh, does that really fit all that well? No, you just have to like make sure that this is flat. Put the card here. I think this is what we're supposed to do. And then like entomb it. Doink. Looks pretty good. Cool. So there's one. Right. So, oh, there goes the tummy. What's that? What's that, tummy? Yeah, you want to throw out some teacher slander? Okay, not quite teacher slander, but my perception is that if you are an individual who wants to become a teacher, your path looks like this. You go to elementary school. What am I looking for? Where are the other pieces? They're all over here. You go to elementary school, and then you go to high school, and then you go into university, and then you go into teachers college, and then you go directly into teaching, right? Into another school. So you're in school for your entire life. You don't actually do anything that isn't being in school. And so because of that, I think that you don't have a very solid grasp on what work life is like for the rest of us schlubs. And so a lot of, and I mean, I come by this honestly. It's not, I know that teachers get a lot of flack for people criticizing them, but I worked a few years in an elementary school, and I wasn't super impressed. I worked in 2 different elementary schools. I wasn't, and this is just after I had been in schools myself, wasn't super impressed with the attitudes that teachers copped at all. I mean, the word entitlement is thrown around a lot, and to be honest, I saw it when I was at the elementary school, and it was dismaying. And I thought, man, it feels like these people don't know how hard it is out there. And then when I got out there, I was sure of it. That confirmed all of my suspicions. So what's really cool about this Teachers College course that I'm getting into is that you can't get into it unless you've had a certain amount of real world life experience. Another interesting thing too is, I want to teach technology. I want to teach computer use. At one point, I even did a TEDx Toronto talk with my little girl at age 5. She was age 5, not me. So I had grown up in the Durham District School Board. That's the region that we're in, and they had they treated computer lab, they had a computer lab, so they kind of treated it like library. I don't know if you had this experience when you were in school, but you had the library period where you would go and basically the teacher would like get to blow off for the hour and the librarian would like read them books or show them how to use whatever, the Dewey Decimal System, etc., etc. So they treated computer lab the same way. All these schools would build a computer lab and you'd have like 10, 20 machines in there, and the board bought all this educational software, and which was already dated at the time they bought the license. And everybody would pile in there, and the teacher would just kind of like mark assignments or whatever in the back as everyone just kind of like explored whatever board approved software was on it. And it didn't matter to the teachers. It didn't seem if the software was age appropriate or not. You had kids, in eighth, whoa, where's my foot pedal? In eighth grade, you would have kids like cruising around on something called Millie's Math House, which was like a, grade 1, 2 level math program. So it was completely Wild West, unprogrammed, nobody cared, kind of thing. And it was really dismaying because, at that time I was trying to use computers to make stuff. I was, creating animations, and I wanted to make movies. So it was dismaying just to see that there was no sort of differentiation in that school board between computer use as a consumer and computer use as a creator, using computers to build stuff rather than just like absorb stuff that other people have built. And that's valid too. I mean, it's, of course, using educational software is valid, but it was never seen as a tool, right? I always saw the computer as like a really cool pencil. And education at the time did not seem to see it that way. And it's because, I think in part, that all these teachers, they didn't realize, and I could see the writing on the wall, like everybody was out there in the job market using a computer all day long, like all day long. You'd go to work, you'd sit down at your desk. It wasn't a typewriter. And you'd maybe have a phone on your desk. When I started at YTV, I had a phone on my desk, sure, but I had a computer. Of course, it was obviously a technical role, but it was just like everybody I knew who was my age who got a job, whether they were a lawyer or whether they were, what did some of my other friends do? Anyway, they were all like at a computer all day long. And so it was really bizarre to me that our education had not prepared us for that reality, because a lot of these people who were doing these jobs didn't really know how to use computers. And I have a friend who got a job at with Ontario Hydro. They doing meter reading, and he found that they were like really inefficient with some of their office processes. And so he went, and because he knew how to use Excel a little bit, he was able to program macros in Excel to speed the job up a whole pile. And they're like, oh my God, you're some kind of wizard, burn him, he's a witch. But because he was able to speed up processes, he got a promotion and got to work a way sweeter, cushier desk job using computers, because he saved them money and increased workflow. And I mean, that kind of thing could be happening everywhere if people kind of knew how to use computers a bit better. And how do they learn how to use computers a bit better? If they have somebody to teach them. And how do they have somebody to teach them? If somebody like me gets a job as a teacher. So hopefully that's a ray of hope in all of this weird, disturbing, difficult job market stuff that I've been laying on you this past hour. My God, hour. We got to finish this up. Let's get this thing in the box, people. All right, no more. We're going to take, I just want to double check to see which side these tokens go on. Big numbers up, it looks like, and we'll just slam them in. I think one's orange, one's pink, and one's blue. Here we go. Blah, blah, blah. And if they're not right, I will sort them out later. But these all fit like a flipping glove. Look how beautiful these are. Exquisitely designed. Put these in here. Again, like if I'm doing this wrong, it's okay. I'll return and do. So this is all in anticipation. The reason that I'm doing this right now, today, I've got other stuff to do. I have to read Tarzan for this English course. This is, and to think that I lost out on career opportunities because I didn't have this degree, and now that I'm getting the degree, it's go read Tarzan. Like, okay. So the difference between me and somebody with a degree is somebody with a degree has read Tarzan, and you're going to base your employment policies on that. Anyway, whatever. I'm not going to complain too much. Too much. I mean, I do want to become a teacher, so I got to learn how to complain eventually. But, oh, yikes. And that's what got him fired, ladies and gentlemen. No. Oh, man. Yeah, they don't know, man. They don't know what it's like out there. Right. What was I even saying? I gotta go read Tarzan, so let's get this done. Right, so the reason I'm doing this now instead of reading Tarzan is because this weekend is the 3rd annual
Boys Board Game Weekend.
I'm gonna do a little short with it. It'll show you what we got up to, but it's just basically, it's me and the boys, and we get together and we play board games all weekend long. And new this year, one of the boys actually has a place up in faraway country that we're going to. So we're not doing, like the past few years we've been in the exact same cottage. We've rented it through Airbnb, but this year we're going to go to one of the boys' own places up in faraway country. And we're just gonna, we'll take the money that we saved not having to get the Airbnb, and we're just gonna buy snacks. It's a big snacking weekend. This should be a really good time. So I wanted to get some of my games open and in a playable state. Although Omelette, who you know from the channel, who will be there at Boy, look at that fit. Oh, so nice. He will be there at Boys Board Game Weekend, and he already has this game, and I printed this whole insert for him, so he has this exact insert. So I don't know why I was so compelled to open my own copy, but I really like to play this game. I heard great things. These cards go in here. Boink. What else have we got? I think, gosh, is that it? There's a couple of tokens that I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to scour the images to find out where they go. Like these guys and these guys. I think there's this one bucket that we haven't touched. So that piece goes over here. This one here, which when we open it has a big trough and who knows what goes in there. And then there's these mystery cards. So maybe, let me just scour the images and we'll just see where these go, and then we'll be able to sew it all up. So apparently all the purple guys go in here with this piece, and the lid goes on. Shunk. And these cards go in here. And that's that piece done. Ooh, Tummy has something to say again. So it's all really good, and I think it'll fit sleeve cards too, because the version that I see on Maker World has sleeve cards, I think, in here, and there's obviously room enough to put sleeve stuff in here. So yeah, so sleeve card friendly, yes. The only thing that I couldn't find a place for are these two cards. Oh, these are just cover cards, SETI Paco 1, SETI Paco 2, so we can get rid of those. And these tokens, I didn't know where these tokens went. And then these tokens, as we saw, I made different versions of, so we can chuck those in the cardboard component box, get rid of those. So let's get the bottom of the box out, and we'll put it all in there and see if it all fits. The bottom of the box right here. I'm going to put, just for now, I'm going to put these blue things. I have a feeling they go in one of the alien boxes. You know what? Let me just check real fast and make sure they don't. Oh yeah, I have a feeling they do. But for now, I'm just going to put them in here, because that's the other thing, is I couldn't find the two little tokens that he's got in his picture that go in here. But maybe those will turn up as I'm tidying up. Or maybe I'll have to write to CG and ask them to send versions of them. Just want to make sure that I'm on the right camera shot. Yes, I am. Here we go. Do-do-do, do-do-do. So this goes right here, and this goes right here, and this goes right up here, and the player, the alien box things go over here. And the card caddy goes here, blamp, and the player boxes go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. What goes over here? It's the 2. Everything so far fits nice and snugly, which has me a little bit worried because there is an expansion coming out. So, oh, if you're listening, Aaron, please keep up with the expansions. So that's all the boxes. They fit beautifully. And then as far as the cardboard components go, right. So that's what those stickers are. These stickers are to keep this closed. You put them here and here and close that up, and it doesn't flap open like that on you, right? So let's pretend that I've done that, and we will. There's a little bit of a, okay, interesting. I have a feeling something goes in here before we stick these in, but just double check that there's not a rectangular-ish item that we can stick in there. Well, let's just do it as the picture says. Definitely something goes in there. Is it these? I have a feeling it's these. It is those. Yeah, beautiful. And then these go in here. Oh, look how beautifully everything fits in. It's so nice. It's so nice. And then at the very end, I'm just going to catch one more picture. I think it's just like, then throw everything else on top. Because as long as you can get something sitting nice and flat like this stuff does, then you can just like slam-a-bam, gazlam-a-blam. Probably like that, just to get it all nice and flat. And then we got the instruction manual, then we got a couple of those, and then we got the promo thing, and then we got these things that we're folding. Ooh. With our 20-year-old chutzpah, yoink, da-doink, da-doink, and all of this stuff. And put the box lid on. I banish thee. This is my new trick, is whenever I close a box, I banish thee for 1,000 years. I shall never play thee again. That's the truth of it. And look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. No box lift. Oh, like nothing. It fits so nicely. And of course, the expansion will nuke that entirely. There it is, SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. While I wasted an hour of your time with practically zero intelligence, but I feel like the Scarecrow from Wizard of Oz, they'll give me a degree by the end of it, and that will justify everything that's come before. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for letting me explain what I'm up to, and thank you for your support in viewing. If you haven't subscribed, let's get that going. That's how you do it. You click a thing that says subscribe, and then there's a bell that gives you notifications when I've got new stuff. And if you keep watching my stuff, and if you want to go even further and you want a special, join us on the Discord channel. Oh my gosh, I got so many of these animations. Join us on the Discord channel, and if you want a special color on the Discord channel, and if you want access to certain things that other people don't have, then go away. Then, no, not you go away, the animation go away. Then, blazam, you can toss me a couple bucks on Patreon and help keep the channel going, and help me pursue my goal of getting into a little bit more stable employment so I can make even more videos for you on this channel. Thank you so much. We'll see you again.
Did you just watch that whole thing? Oh, hey, to 100% this video, click the badge to subscribe, and then click the bell to get notifications when I've got new stuff.